How we doing, everybody? Don't you just love it when a small job turns into replacing the entire rear brakes on your pickup? Well, I sure don't like that. Last night I was taking my rear tires and just swapping them side for side, and when I was putting it back together, I fucked up those two studs there. So, went over to auto parts store after dinner, got a couple studs and lug nuts, with the intention of changing them out when I got home from work tonight. Brake drum came off, fairly easily. I did have to wail on it pretty good with a hammer. I got the studs changed out, and when I was putting the drum back on, you can see the forward shoe came separate, separated from the metal part of the shoe. And I'm not sure how big of an issue this is, but you can see that big divot that I took out of the outside of the drum when I was wailing on it with the hammer. So, since I've putting shoes on it, might as well throw a set of drums on it too. I already called up Napa, and tomorrow at lunchtime we'll be picking up a set of shoes and a pair of drums for the rear end of my truck. We'll also be picking up all the hardware and everything, the springs and everything. We're not going to touch the wheel cylinders. Get in here and show you, but you can see how nasty and crusty that brake line and bleeder is, and I just don't want to go fucking with them. Actually, when I have the parking brake cables done, probably next year or so, I will have the garage throw a couple wheel cylinders and this rear brake line at it. And actually, a part being separated from the metal part, the lining is actually in pretty good shape. Again, the rear shoe isn't that bad either. And you can see that the driver's side isn't that bad either. However, have no idea when the brakes were last done on this pickup, so we'll sure know that when they were done. And so, like I said, tomorrow at lunchtime I'm running down to Napa. Gonna pick up my shoes and drums and hardware, and get you guys another clip when we're going back together. How we doing, everybody? Friday evening, rear brakes on the truck are done, with the exception of throwing the rear tires on. We've got new shoes and drums on it. They're all adjusted and everything. Got all the old hardware. Got our old shoes right there. Gonna bring the shoes back to Napa in the morning, get my $7 core back. Got the two studs here that I fucked up that I had to change, which actually prompted doing the rear brakes. I was gonna try and have the old drums cut. However, I brought them by the garage on Wednesday morning, and that's when I got my parts, Wednesday at lunchtime. He measured them for me, and they were 15 thousandths under the maximum size. So if he cut them, they would just be at the maximum size. So they really weren't serviceable. So just tossed new drums on it. My buddy's dad gave me a hand changing the shoes and adjusting them. He really just kind of supervised me and gave me little tips. I pretty much did all the work myself. Started out on the passenger side. He gave me a little bit of help on that side. And then on the driver's side, I pretty much did it all on myself. I love learning new skills like that, and well, I guess now that we got the rear brakes done, won't have to touch them until I have the garage do the wheel cylinders, parking brake cables, and line that runs along the axle along with the flex hose in the rear. But decided I'm not going to spend that money until I actually have to do it. I guess that's it for this video. Next video is going to be doing the rear shocks, which I'm actually throwing on tomorrow. So watch for that in a couple of days. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.